Hey, everybody. Thank you for listening. Um, my name is Kimberly Cartwright, and I have been reading The Hero of the Dream, which is the last section in chapter 27 of the text of A Course in Miracles. And I've been doing this for several weeks now, and I decided that this has been such an amazing experience for me to read this section every day that I want to do a recording of it with some of the ahas that I've gotten from reading this section over and over and over again. And there's nothing that gives me greater joy than sharing this Course in Miracles, sharing the love that is available for us through a course. So thank you again for taking time for yourself to receive the medicine that's in these words. And so I invite you to take a few deep breaths. Yeah, a couple times. Breathing in, opening the mouth and saying, ah, ah, beautiful. And just really landing in your body, relaxing your mind, and allowing everything that transpires to go straight in and let your spirit receive what is absolutely meant for you. Here we go. And I read a lot of this in my own words. I put this in my own words. So if you're reading along, I follow what Yeshua has written, but I often make it more conversational. And I'm including commentary. Here we go. The hero of the dream. The body is the central figure in the dreaming of the world. There is no dream without the body, nor does the body exist without the dream, in which the body acts as if it were a person, to be seen and to be believed. The body takes the central place in every dream, which tells the story of how the body was made by other bodies, how the body was born into the world outside the body, lives a little while, and dies, to be united in the dust with other bodies, dying like itself. In the brief time allotted the body to live, it seeks for other bodies as its friends and enemies. Its safety is its main concern. Its comfort is its guiding rule. The body tries to look for pleasure and avoid the things that would be hurtful. And above all, the body tries to teach itself that its pains and its joys are different and that they can be told apart. The dreaming of the world takes many forms because the body seeks in many ways to prove that it is autonomous and real. It puts things on itself that it has bought with little metal discs or paper strips the world proclaims as valuable and good. The body works to get these little metal discs and paper strips by doing senseless things, and then it tosses them away for senseless things it doesn't need and it doesn't even want. The body hires other bodies so that the other bodies can protect it and help it to collect even more senseless things that it can call its own. Sometimes the body dreams that it is the conqueror of other bodies that are weaker than it is. But in some phases of the dream, the body is the slave of bodies, which would hurt and torture it. The body's serial adventures from the time of birth to dying is the theme of every dream the world has ever had. The hero of this dream will never change, nor will its purpose. Though the dream itself takes many forms and seems to show a great variety of places and events wherein its hero seems to find herself, the dream has only one purpose, taught in many ways, and this single lesson does the dream try to teach again and still again and yet once more, that it is cause and not effect, and you are its effect and cannot be the dream's cause. Thus are you not the dreamer, but you are the dream. And so you wander idly in and out of places and events that the dream makes up. And that this is all that the body is doing is true, because the body is only a figure in a dream. But who reacts to figures in a dream unless she sees them as if they're real? Who reacts to figures in a dream unless she sees them as if they're real? The instant that we see these dream figures as they are, they don't have any more effect on us, because we understand that we gave these dream figures their effects by causing them and making them seem real. How willing are we to escape the effects of all the dreams the world has ever had? Are we willing to escape the effects of all the dreams the world has ever had? And is it our wish to let not even one dream appear to be the cause of what it is that we're doing? Let's merely look on the dream's beginning, because the part we're seeing when we look around the world is the second part, and the cause for what we're seeing when we look around the world lies in the first part of the dream. No one asleep and dreaming in the world remembers her attack upon herself. No one believes that there really was a time when she knew nothing of a body and could never have conceived this world as real. She would have seen at once that these ideas are one illusion, too ridiculous for anything but to be laughed away. How serious they now appear to be. And no one can remember when these ideas would have been met with laughter and with disbelief. We can remember this if we look directly at their cause. Then we will see the grounds for laughter and not a cause for fear. Let's return the dream we gave away back to us, the dreamer, because we're perceiving the dream as if it's separate from us and being done to us. Let's return the dream that we gave away. Let's take the dream back. Let's take ownership back of the dream, because what we're doing is we're saying that the dream is separate from us and it's being done to us. We're looking out at the world saying, I didn't do this. It's being done to me. Into eternity, where all is one, there crept a tiny, silly, foolish, crazy idea at which the beloved child of God remembered not to laugh. Uh-oh. And in her forgetting, did the thought become a serious idea and possible of both accomplishment and real effects? Together, all of us and Holy Spirit and Yeshua, together, we can laugh both the accomplishments and the real effects of this crazy dream. We can laugh them both away. And we can understand that time cannot intrude upon eternity. It is a joke to think that time can come to intrude or circumvent eternity, because eternity means there is no time. A timelessness in which is time made real. How can you have eternity and time both be real? A part of God which can attack itself. God is love. How could love attack itself? A separate sister brother as an enemy. There's one beloved child of God. How could it be separate and enemies with itself? A mind inside of a body. The mind of God doesn't fit in a body. How could that be? All of these things are forms of circles. They're all never-ending circles. And the only way to get the end, the only way to interrupt these circles is to go to the beginning, is to go to their cause. That's the only way to break the cycle, is to say, hold on a second. If I try to fix any of this stuff in this circle, I'm going to keep chasing my tail. The only way I can ever get free is if I decide to find where it started. And that's what Yeshua is saying here. He's saying, if you want to find the funny part, like if you're sick of the serious tragic, awful part, and you want to get to the funny stuff, you got to go to the beginning where it started. That's where the fun is. And I think that's why I love this section so much, because I tend to be kind of serious. And this section is really saying, yo, lady, lighten up and laugh. Just laugh. Not like laugh at people or laugh at tragedy. Look at the crazy way this all started and just realize that it only deserves laughter. So let's keep going through this amazing section, because it just keeps getting better and better. Here we go into the next paragraph. The world that we're seeing depicts exactly what we thought that we did, except that now what we think that we did is being done to us. So, except now what we think we did to other people or to the world, we now think it's being done to us. And the guilt for what we thought we're placing outside of ourselves and onto a guilty world, which is dreaming our dreams and thinking our thoughts instead of us. So we are looking at a world that is showing us what we think we did. And because it's so, what we thought we did was so awful, we don't want to own that that we're looking at our own guilt. So we're just saying, what I'm looking at is the world's guilt and not mine. And the world's guilt is now hurting me. So we're saying the world is bringing its vengeance, not mine. The world is keeping me narrowly confined within a body, which it's punishing because of all the sinful things that bodies do within the world's dream. And I don't have any power whatsoever to make all these bodies stop doing all the evil things that they're doing, because I didn't make these bodies, and I can't control their actions, and I can't control the purpose of any of it, and I can't control the fate of anyone or anything. That's what we say to ourselves when we look at the world from the perspective of being a body. I didn't make this. I'm stuck in the dream just like everyone else. I can't control it. The world but demonstrates an ancient truth, that we will believe that others are doing to us exactly what we think we did to them. And we will believe this. We will believe that others are doing to us exactly what we think we did to them. And once we've tricked ourselves into blaming other people, and we really convinced ourselves that they are really doing things and they are to blame, then we won't see the cause. It stops being, there's no fun, the fun goes out of it. As soon as I actually think that you've actually done something and I'm blaming you for it, I won't see the cause or the beginning of it, because I want the guilt to stay on you. I've chosen my way of not feeling awful. My way of not feeling awful is to say that you are guilty and I'm not. And once I've flipped that switch and I've decided that you are the guilty one and I'm not, I don't want to see that the cause of what I'm experiencing and what I'm saying that you did, the cause lies in me because I want the guilt to stay in you and I don't want it to come back to me. And this is one of my favorite lines that Yeshua writes. He says, "How childish is this petulant device to keep your innocence by pushing guilt outside yourself but never letting go." And so he's saying it's very childish, and then he calls it a petulant device. And I had to look up, okay, what's petulant? And petulant has so many synonyms, but my favorite one is bratty. It's like, how childish is this bratty device to say, I'm innocent by taking all the guilt I have, throwing it on you, but actually never letting go of the guilt that I'm throwing on you because I don't want to own up to what I've done. And that's exactly what a bratty kid would do. And we act like bratty kids. Like, so let's say that I'm the bratty kid and I invite my friend over to play, and I break my toy, right? I break my toy. Well, I'm a bratty kid, so what do? I make you the reason that my toy got broken. So, because I don't want to feel the guilt. I don't want to say I did it. I'm going to say you broke the toy. And I will continue to insist that you broke the toy. And the reason I continue to insist it is that I don't want to feel the feeling. I don't want to feel how bad I feel. So the only way I can keep outrunning this feeling is by making you suffer. That's essentially the bargain that we make with the world, is we're like little bratty playmates who say, rather than me feel bad, I'm going to cause everyone else to be in some state of suffering because I'm going to say that they're guilty and they're bad. And therefore, I can never really see them in the light and love that they are because I'm trying to protect my innocence by seeing them as yucky people. And when I really, as I've been reading this over the weeks, I've really started to understand more deeply the deal. it's a deal that I made in order to be a body in the world. And the deal is, here's what I realized. I have 3 children, and I was one of 3 children, and from the experiences I've had of being both a parent and a child, I know how hard it is to raise your hand after an argument has happened, or after some accident has occurred, or somebody's feelings are hurt, or something gets destroyed or broken. It's so hard to raise your hand and say, you know what, I started it. I did it. That was me. I was the first one to hit, or I was the first one to think a mean thought or say something hurtful, or I took an action based on fear and selfishness. It was me. And what I'm realizing is that all of our pain as sisters and brothers on this planet comes from us being afraid to raise our hand and say, I started it. And what Yeshua is inviting us to do is to say, Spirit, beloved, I started it, and And we'll read further and we'll see how wonderfully well we're treated when we're willing to say, beloved, I started it. But the whole way out, the way to get to the fun part, the laughing part, is by being willing to have a moment. It's a moment of courage, and it takes courage. That's why it's so rare that we raise our hand and say, I started it. It's amazing how few times we do that. But Yeshua is inviting us through this section to really savor the relationships that we will cultivate and the relationship that we have with Holy Spirit when we offer her our misplaced guilt. So I'm going to continue reading here. Okay. So here's Yeshua speaking. It's not easy to see the joke when all around you do your eyes behold the heavy consequences, but without their trifling cause. Trifling means trivial, silly, inconsequential. So what Yeshua is saying is, it's hard to get to the place where we can laugh when we're looking around and seeing all the bad stuff, the heavy stuff that's come from our way of looking at the world, especially if we're not willing to look at how it started. Without the cause, things seem very serious and sad. It's the cause which follows nothing, and that's where the joke is. In gentle laughter does the Holy Spirit perceive the cause and looks not to the effects. Holy Spirit is the part of our mind that rests in God. And she rests not only in God, but also in our experience. And she always sides, she's always siding with the part of us that is love. So when we ask her to look at anything with us, she's going to side with love. And she often will bring us right back to how it started. She'll say, hold on one second. I know that those things seem very serious and sad and tragic and upsetting. I get that. And she does, because she's seeing it with us. But, she says, look at how this started. Look at who you actually are. You are the beloved child of God, whose mind is God's mind. Look at the silly idea at which you forgot to laugh, and let's laugh now. You may have remembered not to laugh then, but we can laugh right now. How else could Spirit correct our error? Because we've overlooked the cause completely. She bids that we bring each of these terrible, awful effects to her, so that we can look on them together on their foolish cause and laugh with her for a while. We're judging effects, like we're looking at, the smashed car, the separation from our spouse, the bank account without enough money in it, the illness in the body. We're looking at the effects, but Spirit is only looking at the cause. She keeps going back to how did this actually start? Who actually are you? You're the beloved child of God who remembered not to laugh. That's who you are. And by her judgment are the effects removed. They're not even like made better. She doesn't make things better. She removes the effects because they're not true. They're not real. Perhaps we come to her in tears, but hear her say, "My beloved sister brother, holy child of God, behold your idle dream." Idle means without effect. Behold your dream that is having no effect on anything in reality, in which all of this stuff seems to be happening. And we will leave that holy instant with her. The holy instant being the moment in which we released our allegiance to being a brat and insisting that our guilt be kept on the world outside, and we raise our hand and say, "Okay, beloved spirit, I started it." And in that holy instant with her, we side with love. We remember to laugh. And we will leave that holy instant with our laughter, our sister brother's laughter, and the Holy Spirit's laughter all joined together. I like that visual. All of us laughing, gently laughing in relief, just in pure, just relaxed relief. Thank goodness I don't have to take this seriously. You know what, I have to say really quickly, a few years ago, as a result of studying A Course in Miracles, I had a dream one night that I had murdered someone. And in my dream, I was either in jail or I was going to jail, but it was one of those dreams where I was completely gripped, and I totally felt so guilty and so bad. I mean, just horrible. And then I woke up, and the sense of relief that I felt that I hadn't actually done it, that it was a dream. I mean, I that happened years ago, and I will never forget the sense of relief that, oh my goodness, thank goodness that was just a dream. And what Yeshua is trying to, he's giving us as many ways of experiencing this so that we can be hungry for this experience of release and relief and laughter. Because that's how it feels when we remember that we're love, and that nobody has to pay the price for the guilt we feel. That is how we feel, like waking up from a dream, realizing you didn't do it, and that all you have to do is run around and be happy and click your heels together, because nobody has to go to jail for anything, because it just ain't true. Next paragraph. The secret, I love this part, the secret of salvation is this, that we are doing this unto ourselves. This is the thing we haven't wanted to know. It's a secret. We haven't wanted to admit that we're doing this to ourselves. No matter what the form that the attack is taking, this is still true. It doesn't matter what the attack looks like, whether it's a colleague at work challenging what you're doing, or a sibling who has problems with something that you've said. It doesn't matter what the form of the attack is. It's still true that we are doing this unto ourselves. And it doesn't matter who's taking the role of the enemy and the attacker. It could be a politician is taking the role in your mind of the enemy or the attacker. It could be one of your neighbors taking the role of enemy. It could be the economy that you think is the enemy and the attacker. It's still true that we are doing this unto ourselves. Whatever seems to be the cause of any pain and suffering we're feeling, it's still true. So like it could be a physical ailment. It could be anything. Our bank account. It's still true that we are doing this unto ourselves. And we wouldn't be reacting at all to figures in a dream that we knew that we were dreaming. Like when I woke up from that nightmare, I didn't react to the nightmare after I realized it was my dream. What we're all doing is we are reacting as if the dream is real, and we keep it real. We keep it seeming real because we keep reacting to it as if it's real. And Yeshua is saying, let the figures in the dream be as hateful and as vicious as they want to be. They could have no effect on us unless we fail to recognize that it's our dream. And this single lesson learned sets us free from suffering, whatever form the suffering takes. And that's just beautiful and wonderful. It doesn't matter what is going on. And that's why it's a miracle. It has nothing to do with, there's no order of difficulty. It isn't about, how big the mess is. If it's a really big mess, then I better not admit that I did it. I'll admit it if it's a small mess, but if it's a really big mess, no. It's either a dream or it's your reality. Those are the only flavors we have. The Holy Spirit will repeat this one inclusive lesson of deliverance until we've learned it, regardless of the form of suffering that's bringing us pain. So the part of our mind that's siding with love is going to it's going to give us this experience of siding with love no matter what happens in our lives. The part of us, the Holy Spirit, that knows who we are is always going to remind us that we are love no matter what happens. Whatever hurt we bring to her, she makes answer with this very simple truth. This one answer takes away the cause of every form of sorrow and of pain. The form does not affect her answer at all, because she would teach us the single cause of all of these forms of suffering, no matter what they look like. And we will understand that miracles reflect the simple statement, I have done this thing, and it is this I would undo. Raising our hand, beloved Spirit, I did it. I started it. And by saying I started it is to say I can end it. And that's what's so powerful. And that's one of the reasons I just absolutely love this section. We got 2 more paragraphs. So powerful what's in these last 2 paragraphs here. So Yeshua says, bring then all forms of suffering to she who knows that every single form of suffering is like the rest. Spirit sees no differences where none exist, and she will teach you how each form of suffering is caused. She will bring you back to the beginning, back to who you are, back to the moment before you remembered not to laugh. And she will have you laughing with her about how silly it was that we chose not to laugh. And it just to laugh at remembering not to laugh. Because it's funny. None has a different cause from all the rest. None of our suffering has a different cause from any of our suffering. All of our suffering is easily undone by the one single lesson truly learned. Salvation is the secret that we've kept from ourselves. Take a big breath in here. Just, let's do that 2 more times and make a ah sound on the exhale. Inhale, nostril, open the mouth, ah. 1 more time. Inhale, nostril, ah. Whew. Salvation. What is it? Salvation is the secret we have kept from ourselves. The universe has been proclaiming this. But to the witnesses to this, we have not paid any attention at all, because every time we see anything that might point us in the direction that we are keeping the secret from ourselves, we didn't want to know it. We actually have been saying that this secret has been kept from us. Like we're not keeping the secret from ourselves. The universe has been keeping the secret from us. But all it is that we have been choosing not to listen and not to see until now. Because we're getting these messages, we're getting this medicine in just the way that we need it, so that we can accept the medicine and we can see the gift in the medicine and we can start to take the medicine. Final paragraph, and there's something else I want to say about what I've learned from reading this every day. And it might be more clear after I read the paragraph, but I'm going to say it now, and then as I read, that might throw more light on it. What I've learned from this, the hero of the dream section, is that when I decide to be a childish brat and I decide to make you guilty because I'm afraid to say, Spirit, beloved, I started it. That is so unfair of me to do that to you. And what has been like gnawing at my gut is that I have been willing to let you suffer through my guilt. Like, I've been willing to see you as guilty and see you as bad, to see you as suffering, rather than admit that I started it and I would like to ask for help. And so what's been motivating me, what's been pushing me to really make this true, to make this experience of raising my hand and admitting that I started it so I can receive the laughter and the gentle, loving joy, what's been pushing me to really follow through is to realize that my not doing it is causing pain to my sisters and brothers. It's, when we look back on things that happened in history and we think, how could people stand by and let other people suffer while, terrible things have happened and people have just been walking around, going about their daily lives and watching people be harmed and killed and kinds of things. How could they do that? And as I've been reading this section, I've been realizing I do that. I do that. When I don't ask for healing, I'm asking for you to be hurt. I'm allowing you to suffer. And even if I'm not willing to do this for myself, even if I'm not willing to get the love and the laughter and the joy of spirit for me, I am willing to do it because I don't want my sister brothers to be writhing in pain and anguish. I don't want that. I don't want to look at a world where people are trapped in awfulness. That is not a world that I want to be the maker of. And so I'm just offering that as the part of the insight that I've gotten from reading this every day. So here's the last paragraph. How differently will we perceive the world when we've recognized that salvation is the secret we've kept from ourselves? When we forgive the world our guilt, we will be free of it. When we forgive the world our guilt, we will be free of it. When I stop making you take the pain that I have not been willing to accept that I caused, when I stop doing that, I'm free and so are you. What an enormous relief. The world's innocence does not demand my guilt, nor does my innocence mean that the world has to be guilty. And Yeshua says this is obvious, and it's a secret that we have kept from no one but ourselves. And you know what? I get that. I've had to keep this a secret for myself because if I had understood what I was doing to you, I couldn't live with myself, which is basically what I've been doing. I haven't been able to live with my own thoughts. I have been keeping salvation a secret for myself. And it is this that has maintained us separate from the world. That salvation is the secret that I've kept for myself, has maintained me separate from the world, and it's kept my sister brother separate from me. And now we need only learn that we are either all innocent or we're all guilty. But we can't be different from each other. I cannot see you in any way that I don't see me. The one thing that is impossible is that we be unlike each other. And this is the only secret yet to learn. Wow. That we're all innocent together. And the last line says, and it will be no secret that we are healed. And for no other reason have I been reading this section. I've been reading this section because I want to be healed, and I don't want to be healed alone. I look around me and I ask Spirit to show me how to be part of the light, part of the opening. And Spirit bids that I look directly at the places where I feel the greatest pain and I have the greatest judgment. And she asks me to please ask her to show me how I started it. To say, Spirit, beloved, I did it. I started it. And she is so excited about guiding me to release and to relief. So thank you for receiving. Thank you for being the most generous, loving, and kind sister brothers ever, for letting me practice and make mistakes and become more and more my true self all the time. I bless you. I thank you. I love you. Peace.